But the part that I'm actually so excited to talk about today is the moment where you said, no, that's not what I'm looking for. That's not looking what I'm trying to do. And I'm really, really excited to talk about you with this, Kevin, because in the past when we've talked about your pivot to impact investing after private equity, you've lit up. Like, it is just so apparent to me, and I think hopefully to everyone who's seeing or listening to this, that you were built to do impact investing at a level that most people can only dream of. And so talk us through that. Like, first off, like, break it down. What is impact investing? What does this like do? What is that job? Like, what, give us the overview for those who aren't familiar with it. And then second, tell us what drew you to this to such an insane degree.
Um, Absolutely. This is also my favorite section to talk about. Impact investing is like your traditional investing, but you're also adding an impact lens on it. So you're in addition to generating some financial return, you are also seeking to generate some measurable social or environmental benefit as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have been drawn to impact investing basically since I heard about the industry over a decade ago, and I was like, this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think most people realize that it's an option that's out there, and the industry has only grown in the last decade, such
Mm-hmm.
as a lot more viable. At the time, for me, there were no entry positions basically at all whatsoever in impact investing roles directly.
Yeah.
And so investment banking was a kind of stepping stone in private equity as well to ultimately make that transition.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else to say about impact investing? It brings me a lot of joy. Like, I wake up every single day thinking about like, A, the social or environmental problems that are incredibly interesting to me.
Yeah.
And then B, my skill set, I'm like, oh, I'm good at making money at investing. Why don't I just combine the two? So to me, it's a dream job.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and can you give us an example? Like, what sort of stuff are you investing in? Like, I know that that you were working at King Philanthropies, and if I'm understanding correctly, it was like a very globally focused firm that did a lot of that exact sort of putting the impact lens on top of what it is hopefully a good investment to begin with. And so you get that nice blend between doing something that's really positive for the world while also getting to exercise some of these skills you built at Vector and Guggenheim. But break it down a little bit more, like what sort of companies or geographies, or like how did this actually look at King Philanthropies?
Yeah. So I should preface that impact investing is across all asset classes.
Mm-hmm.
In that you can be an impact investor working in private equity, say
Mm-hmm.
at like a TPG Rise Climate Fund or Bain Capital's Double Impact Fund.
Mm-hmm.
And you could also doing it early stage in venture capital. You could be doing it from the public equity side.
Mm-hmm.
You could be doing front of fund side. All the same avenues exist. At King Philanthropies, we were working primarily on early stage and growth investing. This is your colloquially VC, venture capital,
Mm-hmm.
working with seed stage companies, Series A, maybe Series B companies as well.
Yeah.
We were generally pretty globally focused. We did a lot of work in sub-Saharan Africa, but generally we kind of saw ourselves working at the intersection of climate as
Mm-hmm.
well as improving livelihoods. Sometimes in its specific sections, poverty alleviation.
Mm-hmm.
And so myself, I covered areas like energy access,
Mm-hmm.
water access,
Mm-hmm.
education, housing, climate smart agriculture for smallholder farmers,
Mm-hmm.
you name it. And I absolutely loved it because every day I was talking to really cool companies working in this
Yeah.
space. So I'll give you a couple examples to provide some context. Awesome organization out there, Okra Solar, which
Mm-hmm.
is working on electrifying first time in rural populations in Nigeria, Haiti, um, for families. Here's a crazy stat about this is UN Sustainable Development Goal number 7, universal energy access.
Mm-hmm.
There are 685 million people today that do not have access to basic electricity.
Hmm.
And that is twice the population of the United States,
Wow.
or 1 in 12 people globally.
Wow.
And the UN Sustainable Development Goals, we hope to reach universal energy access by 2030.
Mm-hmm.
And that we're not going to reach it. We're still about 685 million people short.
Mm.
And there's a lot of work to be done in this sector.
Mm-hmm.
And Okra Solar basically builds mesh grids that interconnect. It's rooftop solar that's interconnected within a community of, say, like
Mm-hmm.
150 households,
Mm-hmm.
first-time electrification access.
Mm-hmm.
And they work with these different project developers who are going to be setting up as these long-term utilities. And they have that mandate for that community for however long the time horizon permits in the different countries.
Mm-hmm.
Couple really other cool ones. is an organization called Cubic that's operating out of Ethiopia. They take plastic waste that's been trashed and landfilled, and work with these plastic collectors who typically are living in extreme poverty, which is defined as working on an income that's less than $2.15 per day.
Yeah.
And they're using that plastic as an input. They are first able to triple the incomes of these plastic pickers
Very cool.
out of extreme poverty. And then they're taking the landfill plastic waste as an input, and with their technology and their science, converting that into building materials to go build affordable housing units, to go build schools, to go build communities.
Yeah.
And they're making money off of it at the same time. And there are extraordinary companies out here that I'm working with every day. I wish I could tell you about every single one I know, but I will pause and refrain myself for now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's really inspiring, honestly, to hear. And I love hearing you talk about some of the purpose behind this, because a lot of times people fall into a trap where they go into finance just because they wanted to make a big paycheck, they wanted a flashy watch or something like that, and then ultimately they realize, hey, this isn't something I actually want to do, and therefore it's not that meaningful. And so I love that you found a part of finance where you're able to take something that you really care about, which is improving the world in any way possible, and combine that with some of the unique, valuable skill set that you built crushing at Guggenheim and Vector. And so talk me through how that skill set applies. So there's an investment process for private equity where you take a look at a SIM and you sign an NDA and you submit a letter of intent, and then you do a deal, you build some investment committee decks, some models, some things like that. And so in impact investing, I imagine obviously you're layering on this additional diligence analysis of what does the impact look like? How does that look? How can we quantify that? But other than that component of impact, how does the actual core investment process differ?
Depending on where you are and kind of what asset class you're working in, the impact investing processes can differ wildly. And so let me give a couple examples. Let's say you're working in private equity impact investing. I think the general consensus around it is that for the most part, you're working in private equity, but on sectors that are impact oriented. I think there is more so a screen of, does this fit in the box of if it's impactful related? If so, then we can pursue the deal as a first screen. And of course, they'll do additional diligence later on the impact side. I think when you get into earlier stage, there's some differences in the impact investing ecosystem itself, in that it's not so clear cut as a dichotomy, but it's a useful barometer in that you have your returns first impact investors and you have your impact first impact investors. I think some people in the industry will promote a narrative that is, there is no trade-off between impact and financial returns, which is true in some situations and scenarios, but is not true across the board.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say clean energy generation, solar and wind, that is, a very one-for-one. There is no trade-off when it comes to impact and financial returns.
Yeah.
Right. Energy companies are deploying this today because it's cheaper. Right. I think it was Lazard's 2021 and 2022 levelized cost of energy analysis that is this is why they are deploying this on a per kilowatt hour basis compared to traditional fossil fuels. So on the spectrum of the impact first and the returns first, right, you get anywhere from this fits in the box to people who are concessionary or maybe you might call it catalytic capital, in which they're far more interested in the impact outcome and they're willing to take maybe a first loss on maybe a blended finance vehicle, or they are interested in they're interested in securing the impact as their first mandate. Investments come second.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a recoverable grant, right? That's on the very far extreme side. I'm a little bit more in the middle, right? Because I come from a very traditional finance background and I love the impact side, where I think ideally a great impact investor, what they should be doing is that you're really doing two jobs in one, right? And that you're delivering the entirety of your financial investment process and you're delivering the entirety of the impact analysis and evaluation process.
Yeah.
And the best impact investors are going to be able to do both, and they are very different skill sets.